Hi folks, I've come somewhere a bit special for me today. This is a bucket list place for me, and I suppose you could almost call it, in fact you could call it a pilgrimage for me as well. I've come down to Durham and I'm just about to go into this beautiful building, Durham Cathedral, and after I've been in here, I'm going to go over there and visit the castle. But this is my main reason for being here. Before I go in though, I'm going to take a quick walk around the graveyard. I'm not going to read out any names, I'm just going to take a walk around. Now I have been on the outside and around this small graveyard. Most of the stones, not all of them, but most of the stones I think are people like deacons, abbots, monks from the cathedral itself. Now, the reason I've come here today is to visit the grave of St Cuthbert himself, and apart from the joy of getting to walk around this beautiful building, I'll also be able to visit the tomb of the Venerable Bede, who is here, who is at rest here as well. Now I do believe they're at opposite ends of the cathedral to each other, but the main reason that I'm here, like I've said, is for St Cuthbert himself. Now, if you've seen some of the earlier videos of mine, you'll have seen visits to Lindisfarne, you'll have seen visits to other places that St Cuthbert went to during his lifetime. For those of you who haven't seen, I'll tell you a little bit about St Cuthbert himself. He's become a hero of mine over the years. He was born in a small farm outside Melrose, not Melrose as it is today, but the original old Melrose in the Scottish borders, and he became a monk at Melrose Abbey, and at some point during his lifetime he went out and carried on his studies at Lindisfarne. Now at Lindisfarne, because of his thirst to get closer to God, he became a hermit, and he refused to be made the abbot. He just wanted to be in isolation so that he could be as close to God as he could become. And he went out and he lived on one of the Innerfarne Islands until his death. While he was on the islands, the monks would come out and bring him food and go back in their very small boats, and they would do this often. And St Cuthbert himself would grow some of his own food, things like onions. Now, when he died, he was laid to rest at Lindisfarne, and at some point over the next 100 or so years, his coffin was opened and they found his body to be in such a perfect state of being. It had been almost as if he had died the day before, or was maybe just sleeping. And this was after a period of maybe 150, maybe even 200 years after he had died. Now, at some point, a couple of hundred years after, maybe 250 years after St Cuthbert had died, the Vikings raided Bamborough, and they also raided Lindisfarne. And the Vikings, the way they were, in their paths, they would destroy anything to do with religion. And because of the reverence that was given to St Cuthbert himself, after having found his body in such a perfect state, he had been raised to the point of sainthood. So the monks, through fear of his body being destroyed, burnt, etc., the monks decided to run from Lindisfarne with his body. And during the running period, which was 7 years, they came here after stopping many times in many different places around the Borders area, or Hoyken. Sorry, Hoyk. my apologies. It's on something else there, don't know why. Yeah, they stopped in many places around the Borders, between Scotland and England, before finally coming to rest here at Durham. And this spot here, where his tomb is, it lies in a bend, right in the middle of a bend in the River Wear, which was an easily defended spot if they needed to. And it's through St Cuthbert's body being here that the very first buildings of this great city were built, and it was built around this, what is now a cathedral, which was initially a church. It was built for St Cuthbert for his remains to be held. Yeah, so I'm going to go in now. Okay, I'll see you on the inside.
Good morning, welcome to Durham. Just like to take a walk through the gallery chapel. We'll take you around to our welcome area. Is this way, please? You okay, ladies? Just to impress.
The tomb of the Venerable Bede. Wow, wow, wow. Chills running down my spine. Absolutely wow. Wow. Absolutely wow. Oh, the beauty. Absolutely stunning. I'm blown away. Absolutely blown away with the beauty in here. And I still haven't reached St Cuthbert's tomb. It's down there somewhere. Yeah, like I said outside, I know that the venerable bead and St Cuthbert were placed at the opposite ends of the cathedral to each other. And we've just seen the venerable bead's tomb just now. So St Cuthbert is down there somewhere. Still gotta find it though. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna walk down this side of the cathedral here. I'll try and catch as many of these windows as possible on this side, and then on the way back up I will try and catch the ones on the wall behind me. Oh no. Right. There's a whole pile of kids have come in, which is the last thing I want. Should I all know? Yes, I will. I'll just catch them both sides as I'm going down. Just because the kids there. I don't want to get any of the kids in my video. Wow. Right, I've just approached the tomb and I can't remember the gentleman's name. I can't tell he was an English knight. And at some point in, it's the Neville tombs, there's the boards next to it. Okay. Now, I just said it. No, it's not. He defeated the invading Scottish army. Now, at some point after this date, the Scottish army were defeated again, and the prisoners of war were brought here and kept prisoner here in the cathedral. And when they were here, they were very destructive. You see the graffiti? This is done by the soldiers, the prisoners of the Scottish Army. And at some point, now I need to be very careful here. The kids are sitting right in front of me. At some point, so many people here, and I hate getting people in my videos. Yeah, at some point in the 17th century, this place was torched. And the only thing to survive was a little bit of wood. Tiny little bit of wood out of all the wooden stuff that was in here. And I believe I know where that piece of wood is if I can get access to it. I'll try and find out. As you see though, there's more graffiti here. The Scottish prisoners of war that were here when they destroyed everything. There was one thing that they wouldn't destroy because they believed it to be Scottish. I have had a chat with a couple of the I don't know what to call them, tour guides within here, and they've pointed out some stuff to me, and if I can point some of it out. There's a mason's mark there. Another bit about the Scottish Army I knew before coming in here. The bit of wood, I've still got to find out, so we'll see. So much to look at. I don't know if I'm going to get it all in the video, and this is one video I don't want to do in two parts. Definitely don't want to do in two parts. Right, here's the clock that I don't know if I can spot it. Yes, I've spotted it. The reason that they didn't destroy this clock back in the 17th century was because they thought it was Scottish. I don't know if you can see it or not, that thistle there. They thought it was a Scottish clock. So this was the only thing that remained undestroyed during the fire that set place in the 1700s. So the only surviving piece of wood from the fire in the 1700s is this piece here, which is hidden, and I'm going to make sure it remains hidden. I'm not telling where it is. I've been privileged enough to be given a look at it today, and it's meant to be a no-no, but that's it there. Yeah, so like I've said a second ago, I'm very privileged to be shown that. Now, I knew that was there from my own studies before coming down here. I didn't know where it was, and I've been given a privileged look at it, and I feel very privileged indeed. I was initially told it's a no-no, not allowed, you know, and after a little bit of conversation with the person, telling them a little bit about my history and why I'm here, he changed his mind and allowed me to film it, which I'm very grateful for. I feel quite emotional. Wow. Right, I don't know who that is in the middle. Don't know who that is at all. I do know that St Cuthbert there. So we'll get a better view of him. And that there, King Oswald, whose head was found in the coffin of St Cuthbert on one of the occasions it was opened. Wow. Wow, stunning, absolutely stunning. Oh wow. It is, isn't it? It's a dragon. Some sort of serpent, I think. I'm not sure what that is. Maybe a boar, a ram or something. A bull maybe. I can see me spending the day in here. That's boars. Wow. One of the things I've noticed on my way around here, there, and it's on a few of the pillars, bullet holes, I would presume, from some of the wars between the English and the Scottish. You can pass these children.
Here, instead of over there, is that's the reason why it's in the car home, isn't it? The key inside something, why you can't stand it. So, you ready for this? The back, I want to stand up so you can see this.
Wow. Absolutely wow. Oh my god. Oh wow. Absolutely wow. That's all I seem to be able to see today. There's so much going on, I don't know where to point the camera. Wow. Absolutely stunning. Come back out here and have a look at the tower. I'm going to try and get up the tower as well. So much going on in here, so much beautiful carvings and decorations and just wow. beautiful this. I wonder if it's on the outside. Again, I don't know if you can see it on the camera, you can see graffiti from here, or I can. And that seems to be a bishop, or maybe an abbot. Again, no names. Here's the reason I've come here today. The tomb of St. Cuthbert. The shrine of St. Cuthbert. Yeah, I've come out of the shrine just now. What do I yeah. The place filled with school kids that are going around just after I went in. So I've come out just now. I will be going back in before I leave. Yeah. Unfortunately, we can't get into the chapel of the Nine Altars today. It's been closed off because there is some masonry falling. Now, the shrine of St Cuthbert is the original building. It's the original church. I did notice when I was in there, they have behind his tomb, or at the head of his tomb, just off centre, was a carved figure of King Oswald with his head sitting off centre. Don't know what to call it, having been severed from his body. This board dates all the bishops from the very first one, when St Cuthbert's body was brought here, right up to today's date. And all the priors as well. And all the deans. If you look at the crests around the side of that list. Thank you. You'll see there are some Scottish crests there as well. But the kids have left, thankfully, so I'm able to come back in. King Oswald's statue. Stood right now in what was the original church. more graffiti on the tomb. Beautiful tomb as well. The Hartfield tomb it is. The crest of St Cuthbert. At the window, given in celebration of St Cuthbert. And marks the foundation of the diocese in Durham. Absolutely wow. Okay, so I stepped outside the cathedral on the other side from which I entered. I'm not going to go around the museum, but it's here. Just letting you know it's here. Absolutely stunning. Absolutely stunning. I don't know what that is in the middle, possibly an ancient well. No, locked. I don't know if this is permitted or not. No, it's locked. So, no entry. Bit in the middle is called the lava bowl. Walk. It's all locked off, and that's leaving. You could spend a day just walking around here. I'm not going to go in because there's kids in here. I don't want to get them on film. Stunning, absolutely stunning.
It's the same bumper and same headlights as the 68, so that's why.
Okay folks, that's me back in here now, in the main cathedral. And I think I'm gonna call it a day at this. It's such a stunningly beautiful, beautiful place. Would highly recommend anybody coming and giving it a visit. Absolutely anybody. This has been a dream come true for me today. The venerable bead through those doors there, and St Cuthbert behind the altar down there. So here we have it folks. Highly, highly recommend a visit to this beautiful, beautiful place. Now I'm gonna end this video here and head over to the castle. I thank you for watching, and I hope you have enjoyed this video as much as I've enjoyed making it. And hopefully I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching.